Hello and welcome to this Red Gaming Tech video. Myself and Marta. Do forgive the slightly echoey sound today. I have just moved into a new flat and things are a little bit everywhere, so I will get some soundproofing set up, so please bear with me in the meantime. However, we're going to kick things off with a couple of Intel pieces for you today. So what we actually have here to start things off is an interesting report from Forbes.com, which, if true, could actually be something rather impactful indeed, as there are rumblings that Microsoft may have just dropped Intel in favour of Xilinx. Now this is for data center acceleration. Now Microsoft and they are most likely the largest buyer of Intel FPGAs for data center acceleration. So, just to kind of give you an idea of how big an impact this would actually be, Microsoft have previously said that both Azure and Bing service across all of its data centers now have Intel FPGAs to accelerate workloads. So if Microsoft indeed switched all of its new servers to Xilinx FPGAs, this would mean eventually millions of devices and servers. Even if you say that only goes half this far, that actually it's going to keep half on Intel, half on these new ones, that is still a lot of servers, a lot of Xilinx wins, you could say. But basically this has come from reports, first of all, from Bloomberg's Ian King, who published an article stating that Microsoft will soon start deploying Xilinx FPGAs in future server deployments, and then Carl Freund, who wrote the article on Forbes.com, has managed to have a conversation with both firms, and he is stating that he believes that Xilinx has indeed scored a massive win over Intel. So, given Intel's current woes, this is not really brilliant. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they're going to go bankrupt, they're going to be, crying for spare change on the corner tomorrow. That's obviously a bit silly, but this is definitely going to be painful for Intel. I've said many times, as has Paul and I'm sure numerous other people as well, how important the data center is for Intel and AMD. We discussed many times how AMD have taken a big chunk of the server market share and data center market share from Intel, and how that's actually quite impactful given how much money both companies actually make from this. So this is not really what Intel wants to be happening right now. Or ever, obviously, but now is particularly bad timing. But we have another Intel piece of news to move on to today. And this is all thanks to a Reddit user by the name of BlackSoul XXX, who has spotted both Ice Lake and Lakefield in an Intel graphics driver. Now this has been spotted in a pre-release driver of Intel GFX for Windows 10, which has been signed by both Intel and WHQLED. And of course there will be a link to the Reddit thread in the description below this video, but you'll also see it on screen, where you can see a lovely tasty list where you will indeed see Ice Lake and Lakefield. And further, according to this user, Lakefield is going to be an SoC intended for an always connected PC similar to the Snapdragon 850. Now, just to refresh your memory about Ice Lake, as it has been a little while since we talked about it, Ice Lake is going to be on the 10nm refresh node, which obviously is going to be 10nm plus. Now, it seems weird to be talking about 10nm plus when we haven't seen hide nor hair of 10nm, but obviously these things happened far, far in advance. But we do have a couple of AMD pieces for you today, so let's move on, shall we? And this is again thanks to a Reddit user who has found a Ryzen 2600H Vega graphics performance numbers on user benchmark. Now, of course, there will be a link in the description below this video to these very same benchmarks, but you'll be able to see for yourself exactly what we have here. Now, in this particular comparison, it is, as you can plainly see, being pitted against the Ryzen 5 2500U. And, well, the 2600H does very, very well indeed against it. We have a base clock of 3.25 GHz versus that of 2 GHz for the 2500U, and we also see a much better single core and multi-core speed, and just general improvements pretty much across the board. Now, you might be wondering, about the rig that this actually tests on. That is obviously very, very important. And according to a comment in the Reddit thread, which will also be linked below, the 2600 test was run on a single channel 8GB DDR2666. So in all honesty, what I gather from this particular benchmark, that is going to be a really nice gaming option for those of you who are operating on low power. You don't want something too power hungry, not too expensive, all that sort of thing. And of course, the 2600H is available as part of all-in-one setups. So for those of you who are on a bit of a budget, this APU is definitely something you might want to keep your eyes peeled for in those pre-built rigs, as obviously it's not going to be running the latest AAA games at 4K with everything maxed anytime soon, but for those of you on a bit of a budget, this is definitely a really nice option from what we can see here. Now, to move briefly on to another AMD topic for today, there's a interview with AMD called The Bring Up, and well, it was published by AMD, should I say rather, and was conducted with AMD's Robert Hallock. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to, at the link in the description below this video, at the 44-second mark. Now, something may catch your eye at the bottom of the screen. It is indeed the word Navi. So this could possibly mean that we will indeed see Navi revealed at the New Horizon event, which I discussed just the other day. Now, obviously they have done this in the past with Vega, where even though it was far in the future of an actual release, we won't be seeing it this year obviously, they were most likely going to tease it, just go, hey, here's Navi, here's kind of what it looks like, maybe, that sort of thing. It's just going to be a tease, and then obviously we'll get probably another capsation event to actually detail what is actually going on with specs and all that sort of stuff. Now, it's definitely worth watching the whole video, which again will be linked below. Lots of links for you in the description today, I know. So do give that a look-see, but the 40 to 45 second mark is definitely, I'd say, worth a closer look. So that is me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your support is very much appreciated. Do like and subscribe, as always, it's helped out a great deal. But thanks again for all your support, guys. Honestly, thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.